Right. So today we are going to discuss about how we find the Z values in terms of the transmission line parameters or ABCD parameters. And this information will be helpful for you, for us. If we have the transmission line parameters of any two-port network, then we can easily calculate the impedance parameters from those transmission line parameters. అంటే మనకి ఏదైనా టూ పోర్ట్ నెట్వర్క్ యొక్క ABCD పారామీటర్స్ మనకు తెలిస్తే from that ABCD parameters we can easily calculate the Z parameters. So the relation between the Z parameters and ABCD parameters shown in the equation from 33 to 36. Z11 equal to A by C, Z12 equal to AD minus BC divided by C, and Z21 equal to 1 by C, and Z22 equal to D by C. So this is the relation between the Z parameters and ABCD parameters, or representation of the Z parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. So first we will discuss about the derivation. Later we will move to problem, right? So now we will discuss about the derivation, how we get these values. Done. So same procedure, Amma. In this class, in this session, I want to explain how we represent the Z parameter in terms of the ABCD parameters. So first you write the equation for the ABCD parameters. You have to write the equation for the ABCD parameters. Try to recap. For ABCD parameters is represented V1 equal to A into V2 B is coming. B multiplied with is my voice is audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Because I got some resound, that's why. Is it audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, I1 equal to C multiplied with V2 minus D multiplied with I2, right? So because I want to represent the Z parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. So first try to get the ABCD parameter equations, what we discussed few days back. So V1 equal to A into V2 minus D into I2, I1 equal to C into V2 minus D into I2, right? Now, first I want to find the Z11 in terms of the ABCD parameters. I want to find the Z11 in terms of the ABCD parameters. So how we define Z11? Z11 equal to V1 divided by I1 at I2 equal to 0, right? Z11 equal to V1 by I1 at I2 equal to 0, right? So now, so since I2 equal to 0, we require I2 equal to 0. So keep I2 equal to 0 in this equation and keep I2 equal to 0 in this equation. Then these two equations will become V1 equal to A multiplied with V2 minus I2 is 0, right? So this term will become 0. And I1 equal to C multiplied with V2, whereas I2 equal to 0, so this term will be again 0, right? So we have V1 equal to A into V2 and I1 equal to C into V2, right? So from the definition of the Z11, so Z11 equal to V1 by I1. So V1 by I1 means we have the A divided by
V2.
Right? Is it okay, Nama? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next thing is, now I want to calculate Z21. I want to find the Z21 value in terms of the ABCD parameters. So we define the Z21. Z21 equal to V2 divided by I1 at I2 equal to 0, right? Try to recap. So we calculate Z21. Z21 equal to V2 divided by I1 at I2 equal to 0. Right? At I2 equal to 0 means again we get the from the at I2 equal to 0, that means put the I2 equal to 0 here, put I2 equal to 0 here, then we have the V1 equal to A into V2 and I1 equal to C into V2. So we have the V1 equal to A into V2, I1 equal to C into V2. Now Z21 equal to V2 by I1, right? Right? So Z21 equal to V2 by I1. So Z21 equal to V2 divided by I1. That's equal to ఏమొస్తుందమ్మా? See, I1 equal to C కదా. So V2 by I1 is nothing but the 1 by C. So Z21 equal to 1 by C. So C, Z11 equal to A by C and Z21 equal to 1 by C. So this is the procedure, this is the derivation to find the Z parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. Generally, in the academic examinations, you may ask derive the expression for Z parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. Then you have to do all the derivation process. But in the competitive examinations, no one will ask the derivation. Then you have to remember these 4 equations for the competitive purpose. If there is a competitive purpose, you have to remember these 4 equations. But for our regular academics, you have to remember these 4 equations along with how we are deriving these 4 parameters. Done. So now, so this is over. So we find the Z11 and Z21 in terms of the ABCD parameters or transmission line parameters. Later, we will move to how we calculate the Z12 and Z22 in terms of the ABCD parameters. Now we will discuss again. Right? Now, yeah. So now I want to find the value of Z12 and Z22 in terms of the ABCD parameters. As I want to find the Z and Z parameters in terms of the ABC, you can use these 2 equations again. That means ABCD parameter equations. Right. Now start with this. Now I want to calculate Z12, right? So Z12 equal to so that's equal to V1 divided by I2 at I1 equal to 0.
I1 equals
Right? Z1 equal to V1 by I2 at I1 equal to 0. So put I1 equal to 0 in this equation. Put I1 equal to 0 in this equation. Then what happened? This equation, this one. This equation will become 0 equal to C multiplied with V2 minus D multiplied with I2. Right? Now, but if we want to calculate the Z21, we have to find the ratio between V1 and I2. So V1 is here and I2 is here, but there V2 is there. So what we have to do is convert this V2 in terms of I2 by using this equation. Convert the V2 or find the V2 in terms of I2 by using this equation. So how we write V2? So V2 equal to D into I2 divided by C. Now replace this V2 expression here, right? Then we have V1 equal to A multiplied by, so here we have D into I2 divided by C, that is the V2 expression, minus B into I2. Now V1 equal to, take I2 common, then we have, if you take I2 common, here we have the A multiplied with D divided by C, A multiplied with D and divided by C, and minus B, right? So I'm taking I2 common. Here we have the A into D divided by C, and here I am the minus B. And further we can simplify this one as I2 into, take LCM, then we have the A multiplied with D minus B multiplied with C divided by C, right? A into D minus B into C divided by C. So from the definition of Z12, so Z12 equal to V1 by I2. So V1 by I2, that's equal to, so this is the V1 and this is the I2. So V1 by I2 equal to this expression. V1 by I2 equal to this expression. Okay. So finally Z12, see this equation, Z12 equal to A into D minus B into C divided by C. So Z12 equal to A into D minus B into C divided by C. That is how we find the Z12 expression in terms of the ABCD parameters. Now, Now I want to find the Z22 in terms of the ABCD parameters. Last one. I want to calculate the Z22 in terms of the ABCD parameters. So we define the Z22. Z22 equal to V2 divided by I2 at I1 equal to 0. V2 divided by I2 at I1 equal I1 0. Right? So at I1 equal to 0. So at I1 equal to 0, this equation like this, and we can use this equation directly. So we want a V2 by I2, right? So V2 by I2 means see this equation. That means the first equation, second equation, I1 equal to C into V2 means D into I2. At I1 equal to 0 means I1 becomes 0. Then that equation will becomes like this. 0 equal to C into V2 minus D into I2. So from this equation, based on the definition of Z22, we can write Z22 equal to V2 by I2. This is the V2 and this is the I2. So V2 by I2 will be, what happened? V2 by I2. Here, V2 equal D into I2 divided by C. If you move I2 toward the left hand side, we have the V2 by I2, that's equal to D divided by C. Right? So Z22 equal to D by C, and Z12 equal to A into D minus B into C divided by C. So this is the derivation part. So this is how we find the values of the Z parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. So Z11 equal to A by C, and Z21 equal to 1 by C, and Z22 equal to D by C, whereas Z12 equal to A into D minus B into C divided by C. So try to remember, try to understand the derivation. So all the simple and the same procedure. So you can easily derive all the expressions. So at the same time, try to remember these equations, because if the problem is coming in the examinations, if you start from the derivation, it takes more time. If you are able to remember these equations, just directly use the equations and put the values of A and A, B, C, D values, and finally get the values of Z11, Z12, Z21, and Z22. So this is the procedure, and this is the how we represent the Z parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. Right? I hope you understand. And, right. So now we move to this exercise problem. I will provide this exercise problem later. Now we move to H parameters. How we find the see Z in H? That means I want to represent the Z parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters or H parameters. I want to find the Z parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters or H parameters. Right? So how we do this one? The same procedure again. So these are the summary. That means the relation between the Z parameters and H parameters. So Z11 equal to H11 into H22 minus H12 into H21 divided by H22, and this is the Z12, and this is the Z21, and this is the Z22. 37 to 40 equations which provide the relation between Z parameters and H parameters, or provide the Z parameter values in terms of the H parameter values from 37 to 40 equations. As I said, possible, try to remember, but try to understand how we get these equations, how we get this relation. Right? So now we will discuss about how we get the Z parameters in terms of the H parameters. I think it is again the same procedure what we did for the Y parameters, what we did for the ABCD parameters. So now we will start the derivation part. Now I want to find the relation between the Z parameters and the H parameters. So as I want to find the Z parameters in terms of the H parameters or hybrid parameters, now first we need to start with the equations which represent the hybrid parameters. So what are the hybrid parameters? That's equal to V1 equal to V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus
Plus 1 to
H12 into
V2.
V2, and similarly I2, that's equal to H21 multiplied by I1 plus H22 multiplied with V2. So we need to start from these equations. Now I want to calculate, I want to find the Z11 in terms of the hybrid parameters. I want to find the Z11 in terms of the hybrid parameters. So now we need to define Z11. We need to define Z11. So Z11 equal to, we know that Z11 equal to V1 divided by
V1
I1,
by
I1
V1
at
divided by,
I2 is equal to 0.
right, at I2 equal to 0. So as at I2 equal to 0, keep I2 equal to 0 in this equation. Right, keep I2 equal to 0 in this equation. Now that equation will becomes 0 equal to H21 multiplied with I1 plus H22 multiplied with V2. H22 multiplied with V2. H22 multiplied with V2, right? And Z11 equal to V1 by I1, right? So in this first equation, we have the V1 and we have the I1, but here I have the V2. So if we are able to represent V2 in terms of the I1, then we can easily find the V1 by I1 ratio. Now we get the V1 in terms of the I1 by using this equation. How we get the V2 in terms of the I1 by using this equation. So from this equation, V2 can be written as V2 equal to minus H21 multiplied with I1 divided by H22. Minus H21 into I1 divided by H22. Now replace this V2 expression. Now replace this V2 expression in the first equation. Right? So what happened? So first equation will become V1 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into H12 multiplied with V2. V2 equal to this one. So instead of the V2, you can place this expression. That's it. Right? So now we can write V1 equal to, here we have the I1 and here we have the I1. Take I1 common and we have, here we have the H11 plus, and this is minus here is there, no? Minus is there, so I will keep minus here directly. So we have H12 minus H12 multiplied with H12 multiplied with H21 divided by H22, right? So now we can further simplify by taking the LCM. That means now we have the H11 multiplied with H22. That means I am moving this one toward this side. H11 multiplied with H22 minus H12 multiplied with H21 divided by H22, right? So we can simply write like this. So V1 equal to, right? Here I1 into. So I1 into H11 to H22 minus H12 into H21 divided by H22. So from the definition of the Z11, so Z11 equal to Z11 equal to V1 by I1. Here V1, here I1. So V1 by I1 equal to, so what we have? To take V1 by I1, we have this expression. H11 into H22 minus H12 into H21 divided by H22. So this is the H11 into H22 minus H21 into H12 divided by H22. So that is how we derive the expression for Z11 in terms of the hybrid parameters. Similarly, we can find Z21. So Z21 equal to V2 divided by I1 at V2 divided by I1 at I2 equal to 0, right? Z21 equal to V2 divided by I1 at I2 equal to 0. So if we replace I2 equal to 0 in the H parameter equations, so then we have the 0 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 into V2, right? Now, from this equation, we easily get the ratio between the V2 and I1, right? So what's the ratio between V2 and I1 here? H21. Sorry. Z21. So V2 by 1 ఏమొస్తుందమ్మా ఈ ఈక్వేషన్ నుండి. Here V2, right? V2 equal to minus H21 into I1 divided by H22. So V2 by I1, that's equal to Z21. So Z21 equal to V2 by I1, that's equal to ఏమొస్తుందమ్మా minus H21 divided by H22. This I1, I want to move toward this side, then it will be V2 by I1. Then we have the minus H21 divided by H22. V2 by I1 is nothing but the Z21. So Z21 equal to minus H21 by H22. That is available here. Z21 equal to minus H21 by H22. Right? So this is how we can calculate the Z parameter Z11 and Z21 in terms of the hybrid parameters. Similarly, now we will try to find the Z12 and Z22 in terms of the hybrid parameters. So we will derive that also. I want to represent Z22 and Z12 in terms of the hybrid parameters. As I want to represent the Z parameters in terms of hybrid parameters, we need to start with the H parameter equations. Now I want to calculate Z22. So Z22 equal to V2 divided by I2 at I1 equal to 0. Right? Z22 equal to V2 divided by I2 at I1 equal to 0. Right? Now, so when I1 equal to 0, how these two equations looks like? Keep I1 equal to 0 here, and keep I1 equal to 0 here. Then the two equations, first two equations will become V1 equal to, this will be 0. We have H12 multiplied with V2. Similarly, I2 equal to, this term will become 0, and we have H22 multiplied with V2. Right? Now, V2 by I2 I want. V2 by I2.